It's about real people and the events in our lives that are inexplicable and seem magic. Like thinking of someone you haven't thought of in years and then they show up at your front door. Is that magic, or is it just the way reality works for some people? And it's subtitled Superstitions because believing in them shapes reality. When we deeply believe something and we're afraid of it, like a Ouija board or a black cat crossing our path, when we encounter those things, we release a lot of hormones and neurotransmitters into our brain and throughout our bodies, and that chemistry shapes our visual perceptions and deepens those beliefs. When we believe in a religion, in witchcraft or superstition, we alter reality. Our brains create a landscape that reinforces our beliefs. Magical realism is probably better described as cognitive realism or Nepantla realism. Gloria Anzaldúa tells us that Nepantla is the Aztec word for in the middle or on the border. In these stories, people often find themselves on the border between different realities. I don't set out to write about ideas, but ideas come out when I write. I don't try to say anything profound or philosophical. I just follow language, and it leads me into imagery, into imaginary places, alternate realities that I love to explore. Most of my life, I have been obsessed with metaphysics, philosophy, physics, and neuroscience. These subjects have altered the way I see reality, so they organically come out in my writing. Almost anyone can learn how to write, how to construct a complex sentence, how to structure plot. But what's more challenging for the writer is to learn to see beyond the veil of pop culture and superstition, beyond abstract concepts of truth that we have been exposed to all our lives, and even beyond philosophy and religion. We can get glimpses into the multiverse, into the infinite possibilities of the imagination. What I read about and study comes out in what I write. I don't believe in one reality. There are multiple realities, a mosaic of perceptions that creates the landscape within which we interact. I don't set out to write about metaphysics, but when it happens, I just get out of the way of the language. I cannot ever be anything but a Chicanx writer. I will never be anything more than a Chicanx writer. And of that, I'm grateful. Everything I bring into my work, all my love and passion and creativity and addictions and emotional turmoil are rooted in growing up Chicanx in Fresno, California, and especially the language I use. I grew up in a time when the Spanish language was thought of as dirty and disgusting, a secret language that you had to hide inside the walls of your home. We weren't allowed to speak it in schools. Spanish was so vilified that our parents made the conscious choice not to teach us Spanish. So my generation were the old school pochos. We have accents in 2 languages. And because Chicanx people recognize our indigenous antepasados, we use Nahuatl and other native words as well. Under such linguistic diversity, how can poetry not happen? Chicanx poets found beauty in the way we mixed languages and how our abuelos put words together, the music of our voices. In fact, they call early Chicanx writing code switching. We write code and we create things that didn't exist before, stories and poems and songs and philosophy. The Chicanx writer is the original hacker. We can code multiple programs at once. I want the reader to enjoy the stories, the plot twists and turns, the play of language. I love language. I love the beauty of a sentence, and I am willing, often, to compromise an idea if the language is beautiful enough. I hope my readers can effortlessly ski across the slopes of every story and superstition in this book. And should they want to stop in some written woods and get out, get off the skis and have a look around, I want them to be able to do that too. I want them to be able to go back into the stories over and over again and find new things if they want to. But mostly, I want them to enjoy the ride. This may sound a little corny, but what inspires me to write is what inspires me to keep on living. If I ever come to a point in my life where I just want to give up and die, that's when I will not be inspired to write. But like most humans, I want life, and I want more life, and I don't mean riches and fame. I mean to expand my field, to expand my community, to keep growing, to keep making beautiful things for beautiful people. In Kabbalah, they call the Spirit of God within us the desire to be. This is the gift of God. You could have somebody reaching 100 years old and they will be out in their backyard or on their balcony planting flowers or fruit trees that they may not even be around to see. That's what I want to do. I want to plant flowers and fruit trees that will live longer than me. And I want to do that with stories.